And then we just catch up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found Saloro?
No, I checked at this stage. He was quite angry and mumbled to himself or talked to someone. I'm not sure. It seemed a bit suspicious, actually.
Somehow, him speaking to himself does not surprise me.
Yeah, but he definitely did not want to get interrupted. Important research, he said.
Be interrupted.
I don't know. It seemed a bit suspicious. But then maybe Saloro is either at the Rust Dragon or at the beach. It was at the beach last time.
Both of those would be decent assumptions, though I think the beach before the Rusty Dragon.
Probably, yeah. It's where it usually is. We should go there and have a look.
Well, us two are the fastest, so one of us should probably go.
Yeah. If you want to head off to the garrison, I can go pick him up.
Very well. Complete your job. Go collect the wizard.
Complete your job.
You went over here and you failed to find him.
Fetch quest.
This isn't part of my contract.
Find
We'd like to thank you very much.
the Saloro Soreasu hiding.
Oh well, Arenoss will start heading off. Okay.
Where in the world is Saloro Soreasu?
There you go. That's what I wanted.
The question no one can answer.
I'm huge.
Towering over the beach! It's Mecha Arenoss.
Arenoss will, in sort of like his random scramblings, will end up finding Saloro within smelling distance of the hagfish. The initial layer of robe and cloak tossed over Heinrich's saddle as Saloro sits with his back to any sort of onlookers who could possibly approach him, cross-legged on the sand of the beach. He's sitting in the wet portion too. Oh my!
Alright, Arenoss will just approach him, saying nothing, and stand a bit behind him to the side and say, we all decided to meet up at the city garrison again for an update on what we all have found out, if you want to join us.
Oh. Saloro opens his eyes, rotates his head to look backwards and up at Arenoss.
Arenoss is just looking out in the water.
Was it your idea to come after me, or did Erevan manage to pawn this off on you?
Arenoss will look down at Saloro. It was both his and my idea, I guess. We both agreed on assembling all of the party.
Saloro gives a wry grin, says nothing as he reattaches the veil. All right, I'll be along. You can go ahead and head there. I'll catch up.
Alright then. Arenoss will then walk up.
The sorcerer goes by foot. The wizard goes by horse.
I was saying with Heinrich's, natural two speed increments higher than Arenoss. I don't know where Arenoss went to, guys.
You've become tiny.
He like fucking galloped past.
Yeah, I haven't seen him all day, I don't know.
I decided to come here to the city garrison on my own to check to see about things.
Between us, I think the sorcerer is completely incompetent. He can't even find me, I don't know.
That's what Brodart thinks, and we can totally trust what he says.
Very well. The party then... Oh my. The party then reconvenes at the office of the good sheriff, who basically welcomes everyone inside and points at different chairs and sofas and whatnot in his office where they can sit down.
Well, Heinrich will take a comfy seat. Oh, yes. Yeah.
The sofa sort of creaks dangerously beneath the, I don't know, half ton or something that Heinrich is.
covered in sand.
It's a sandy horse butt on my sofa. I don't feel about this.
It's better than being on your Tensor's floating disc, that's for sure.
Arenoss will blink at Saloro and look at Heinrich.
It's okay, everyone. The horse is outside.
Oh,
Erevan will take just one of the normal seats.
Saloro stands 6 inches inside the room to the right of the door.
Very well. The sheriff waits until everyone has found a seat, or at least, seem to have found some place to dwell inside his room before he starts. Yes, as I did say before, this is the second murder in close proximity to the town. The first one was a couple of days ago. A patrol of guards along the Lost Coast Road were assaulted by some sort of deranged man near an abandoned barn south of town along the banks of Cougar Creek. The man was... There was obviously something wrong with the man. He seemed sick and quite beside himself, as if he had a fever or hallucinating or some sort. His eyes reported wild, his mouth was frothing, and his clothes were caked with blood. The guards who were assaulted by him subdued him, but when they checked inside the barn, where he basically came from, they discovered the mutilated bodies of 3 men. Along the 3 bodies, although the 3 bodies were far too disfigured to identify, we think they belonged to 3 local con men, you should say, swindlers. They were known in town as troublemakers, and I have personally forbidden them from operating within the confines of Sandpoint. And I have been thrown them out on occasion when they tried to circumvent this ruling of mine. I must say I wasn't particularly surprised to find them murdered. It was only a matter of time, if you ask me, before they tried to swindle someone that was worse than them.
this madman, where is he now?
Yes, we tried to make sense out of him, but it was quite impossible, actually. I decided to transport him to the sanatorium outside of town. The Saintly Haven of Respite, I think it's called. He smiles. But everyone around here just calls it Habe's Sanatorium. It is owned by a man called Aaron Habe. I'm not quite sure, actually, why he built a sanatorium out here. As far as I know, he's independently wealthy from a career as a doctor in Magnamar. And as actually why he chose to build a sanatorium out here, he shrugs. I don't know. He's a researcher, and who knows what they think are interesting.
Did the man seem like, before he was like this, to be a common citizen or a beggar, or do you know if he had any connections to anyone?
Hemlock seems to think yes. The man we think was Graced Sevilla, a local Varisian thug. You would think. There are rumors that he was involved with the Scarney gang, or that he at points worked as a strong arm, or perhaps a bodyguard or some tough for those who could pay him. He was a mercenary, basically.
All right. So he might have had connections with the Scarnetti family then.
Nods, yes, he might.
All right. We found out from one of the witnesses that the Scarnetti family might have been involved in the other murders as well. Apparently, the owner of the sawmill might have had dealings with them, or they were owned by the Scarnettis, but he might have swindled some money and basically stolen from them.
I see. Well, that can certainly spark a fit of rage.
Yes.
Can you describe this greyest villa?
You mean his looks or his?
His physical person.
Seems to think. Well, I was. Well, let's see now. How would you go about describing such a person? Well, he has the typical Varisian look. He is in his mid-30s, I would guess. He has brown hair, blue eyes, and the certain sort of yaw line that is typical to many of the Varisians around here, square. And he looked quite vicious and tough, actually. As I said, he's been around town on several occasions. Mainly hanging out at the Hagfish, I believe. Or even at Fat Man's feed bag. As I said, we looked inside the barn and found the bodies. We brought the bodies back, and I left Graced's villa with the sanatorium personnel. Hopefully the good doctor can care for him and perhaps even bring him back to sanity. That would certainly help to answer a few questions, I suppose.
Yes, it would. Look, do you have any idea how the people were killed?
He seems to think, well, we haven't had an ample time to actually check upon them. Some of the experts in medicine, such as Headmaster Gandathis, were out of town, apparently on a mission with Saloro here, Emotions. So we haven't had the opportunity to really look into the bodies. I can say as much as the bodies were severely mutilated, cut up quite badly. And several, extremities were missing, pieces of flesh gone. Seems that whatever killed them has plucked different things from all of them.
You know now, did you spot the Sihedron rune on either of the bodies?
He seems to think, yes, I do believe that the guards reported that they had some sort of marking carved into their chests, now that you mention it, yes.
Right. But this madman, he was locked up when the second murders happened, right?
He nods, yes, I believe so. I left him with at the sanatorium basically the same day we caught him.
How far away is the sanatorium? How far away was the murder scene?
He brings out a map.
See, from what I know, Cougar Creek is on the other side of a little mountain range there, heading south from Sandpoint, and Habe's Sanatorium is following the river that Cougar Creek is near to the southeast of it.
I see it. Habe's Sanatorium is there.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. There's your Sandpoint Hinterlands map.
Indeed.
I was wondering, Saloro, if you...
the first set of murders were happening here. Along Cougar Creek, and Habe's Sanatorium is up here.
Okay.
Alright. I was wondering, Saloro, if you heard the voice of Titus Garnetti, could you imitate it exactly with your medics?
Saloro first, as Brown says, "It is possible for me to achieve mimicry, yes. The more time I have to observe a particular individual's voice, such as..." And Saloro will actually use Ghost Sound and actually have it be the Sage Brodark Quink's voice next to him. He's like,
Why, I say, good sheriff, if you just take a look at the Sahedron rune here on this particular page and on the example of the rune here on the wall, you'll clearly be able to evidently see.
I see. What I was thinking was if we could imitate his voice and talk to this madman with his voice, we might get a reaction from him. And then we would know if Titus Garnetti was involved or not. Or he could still be involved even though we don't
Or at least
get
had
a
a
reaction.
possible motive. He might have a possible motive. Or at least knew.
Yeah, we have a motive, but then we would know if he was involved.
Saloro quirks his head. I'm not so sure about that. Well, I've never consulted with the man myself. And so looks the sheriff. As far as I know, Titus Garnetti would be too savvy of an individual to get personally involved in any such endeavor, and what is known about him in the town, I don't think he would be personally mutilating these bodies and carving the Sahedron rune into the flesh.
Hemlock seems to consider. It does seem unlike him. He is quite a tactician, and if he were to go about something like this, he shakes his head. I don't know. But either it must be a lot of money and prestige on the line, or someone must have wronged him quite severely for him to basically hire killers.
Similarly, I can't see why he would have any dealings with anyone who would kill in such a fashion. If his name were somehow involved, he would not wish to attract undue suspicion to himself.
Yes, if this could somehow be linked to Titus Garnetti, he would be completely ruined in the eyes of the town. All his pretensions to power here would vanish.
Do you know if he knows anyone that has arcane skills?
The sheriff seems to think, well, I am not sure. He keeps a somewhat exclusive company at times. I know he has contacts inside Magnamar.
Right.
And the City of Wonders can certainly produce scholars and wizards, or sorcerers for that matter. He seems to think. I am unsure, however. It is quite possible. He is a vicious man, and he is ambitious as few men are.
Yes. I think we need to investigate this more. Did you find anything more at the lumber mill? And it looks at Roldar and Alvyn.
We found a possible hiding spot as well as some tracks leading from the river to that spot. The tracks seem to be coming from the south side of the river, but other than that, we didn't find much more.
Alright, then first I think we should go and follow them. And see where they lead.
Well, they go into the river. We can't really... We could follow the river, but that would be kind of pointless.
I thought you meant they went along the riverside. Alright. Well, I don't know where to start investigating about the Scarnettis, however. I don't know much about...
As for the bodies that you brought back here, I imagine that by this point they are so decomposed and your guards have already searched through them that I don't think we need to take a look ourselves, particularly since the guards themselves have seen the Sahedron rune carved onto it.
Yes.
It seems to consider, well, we have the bodies, and yes, some decay has set in. You are free to take a look at them if you want. Maybe you can uncover something we have missed. As I've said, my men are not experts, sadly, at this.
Well,
What?
Saloro will actually agree to this idea. He'll go take a look once we're done here.
And Erevan go have a look as well.
What we could see if it was the same kind of murder weapon. Not.
My idea. Weapons, tools, or any just signs that it's the same person.
Yes. Fan.
Yep.
All right.
So to the cellar, I think you said they were.
He nods. Yes. I gave you the key before. I
Yep.
can take you down there myself. And he stands up and leaves the room, walking down the stairs towards the cellar of the garrison.
Before he leaves, Arenoss just says, we shouldn't talk about this to anyone else outside this room.
He nods. Agreed. I will keep the good mayor informed, of course. But if you can keep this somewhat under wraps, I would appreciate it greatly.
Yes, but we don't know about if the Scarnettes are involved or not. Maybe we shouldn't tell the mayor that either, actually.
He sort of grimaces. I'm sort of obliged to keep her informed. She is, after all, the leader of the town, and I answer to her.
Of course. And she will be least likely to be in league with the Scarnettes, I think.
He nods. Yes, they are enemies.
Yes.
Very well, this way. And he...
And down, I assume, a lot of stairs.
Yes, indeed. Yes, coming down and into the room in the cellar, you do indeed find the bodies of 3 men lying there. Decay has indeed set in, but the sort of the cool atmosphere in the cellar has kept them somewhat fresh. They are quite mutilated, though, as the good sheriff described. He
I
points at them.
presume the room smells.
Yes.
Well, my first activity, given my incredible powers and capabilities, is to utilize one of my skills, the Arcana skill, to perform an activity that only the trained can perform, detect magic. To attempt to sense the presence of magic, which will take an entire minute, Saloro stands there and focuses. The difficulty is DC 20 plus 1/2 the level of a magic item, power, ritual, or magic phenomenon within range. He can detect magic within a number of squares equal to 10 in every direction. And he can ignore any source of magical energy he's already aware of. Ignore any barriers. He can detect magic through walls, doors, and such.
All right. Fantastic.
By now, but 10.99.
Now, how much would you pay?
On the off chance that he manages to succeed, he detects each source of magical energy whose difficulty class he meets. He learns the magic's power source, if any. If it's located within line of sight, he pinpoints its location. If not, he knows the direction, but he doesn't know the distance to it. And once he pinpoints any of these things, he can use his detect magic powers again to try to identify the magical effects or rituals involved.
Okay.
And that roll there would meet a DC of 32.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Saloro concentrates on this. Rest of the party?
I guess Erevan will begin examining the bodies for, like, what kind of wounds can he identify, how brashly they were done, etc.
All right. That's a heal check.
Arenoss does
21.
not like the smell and just stands outside for now.
All right.
And I guess Alvyn will do what he does best and look at it.
Look at things.
Yeah, and see if anything seems out of place.
Ooh,
or
what's this?
odd.
Ooh, what's this? Right, you can certainly do so. All right, we start with the medical examination. They do reveal that yes, in their chest, first of all, are carved the Sehedron rune. The rest of the claw marks, as they turn out to be, seem to be quite frantic and quite sort of viciously put in there. There seems to be several of them. A huge chunk of flesh have been severed from the bodies. One of them seems to be particularly badly attacked. Is basically large parts of him seems to basically have been skinned, as if from an animal. Like huge chunk of like skin from the legs and arms are missing. His parts of his face are kind of peeled off. Everyone notices that his ears are actually cut off. He also notices that even though this this corpse is heavily mutilated and much worse than the others, it does suspect that this body might have been an Eladrin or an elf once upon a time. But almost all features of such a person are carved away, leaving basically a red husk.
Erevan will look, for the first time, very much kind of sad at this. The Eladrin numbers are dimming, and this is not helping.
Arenoss will ask the sheriff, what kind of weapon did you say the madman was wielding when you found him?
He seems to think. I don't think he was wielding a weapon at all, actually. He was, as far as I can remember, unarmed. That's what the guards told me.
Well, he couldn't have done this unarmed, that's for sure.
I think I know what happened.
Oh?
Erevan says that in almost a shaky voice.
I have a few ideas as well, but go ahead.
Based on what we've seen here at the lumber mill, and then from another source of mine, I have a feeling this is most definitely more wildly attacked claws, maybe even teeth. As horrible as that sounds. Though I don't have any physical evidence to prove this.
Well, do you think the madman done it? Or do you think I have a suspicion that he was just not really framed, but sent out just to get caught and avoid the suspicion.
It is possible.
Since he could not have done this.
If my personal theory is correct, then what you're saying does hold some weight.
Yes, unless he is some kind of changeling.
Then we'd have another problem to deal with.
Yes.
Looks at Saloro, who's been busy concentrating for the last minute.
Does Arenoss know anything about the changelings?
Well, that's a good question. Let's see here. Changeling.
Is that a nature or arcana? Or,
I'm gonna take a look here.
They're pretty interesting creatures.
Changelings sound like they'd be from the far realm, at the very least. I don't think they'd be anything natural.
I don't think they're natural either, no. Like abominations, aberrations. Let's see here. Changeling. Hold on, I'm trying to find the right page here. There we go, this should yield some result, hopefully. Creature. Creature, there we go. You're a creature, yes. Well, you could... apparently they are natural.
Oh.
So yeah, that would be knowledge in nature to try to remember or realize anything about...
welcome to 4th edition. Also, yeah, Sorcerer.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about nature.
I've just heard that there are changelings. I don't know anything about them, but...
I've heard rumors. The vilest sort is like like basically an old like seafarer tale. 50 foot high and breathing fire, let me tell you.
Well, it doesn't really say. It just says that he doesn't really know much about them, just that they exist, and ask if anyone else knows about them.
What does Erevan know over 20?
Well, 20. Let me see here. If the right page could load, that would be splendid. he does know that